How would you like to be able to confidently communicate your message with just about any body of people and do it confidently? I'm going to talk about something I refer to as reasoned or justified confidence. And once you achieve reasoned confidence through checking on three things, you'll be able to go up to any body of people. You'll be able to communicate your message with anyone with confidence. And I want you to pay attention if you're somebody who wants to communicate more confidently with anyone. And if it's the first time you're watching this, my name is Ron John. I do a live stream every day at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So every 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, tune in to our live video, my live videos out here on YouTube. I'm the head trainer at Great Relationships University and the author of Relationships 101, a former professional dominatrix, and I own the #1 Tantra therapy in Las Vegas, probably in the US. And what I talk about in these live videos is things that will make your relationships and ultimately your life better. And you're sharing these messages, whether by your own voice, by your own message, which is why we talk about here, how to speak your message confidently. As you communicate this with other people, as you share these ideas with other people, as you share these videos with other people, you're going to make the world a better place. You're going to make the world a better place for you and inevitably for the people around you, your community. So, what is reasoned confidence or justified confidence? Is essentially the same thing. You essentially reach the same point. Once you've reached reasoned confidence, once you get to reasoned confidence or justified confidence, you'll be able to confidently communicate with just about any body of people your message. What do I mean by that? What does that look like? That means that perhaps at this point in your life, you're not confident with communicating with just about anybody or any large groups of people or an audience or a board or a meeting with other leaders. And they are people in a committee, people who are committed to a particular goal. And they have several people who are in charge of laying out and pursuing these goals. And perhaps you have an idea that you like to share that makes a lot of sense to you. How do you communicate it confidently, and how do you get them on your side? That's just one contention, but this is essentially how you can communicate your message confidently with any body of people, whether it's an audience in your social media, whether it's an audience in person, whether it's a large group of peers, whether you're in a round table of leaders. How do you communicate confidently with people? Or whether even if it's just one person who you're trying to convince, who you're trying to debate. I am often referred to as a good debater, but I don't consider myself a good debater. I just know what I'm talking about. I have something I refer to as reasoned confidence. So how do you get to reasoned confidence or justified confidence? And then how are you able to communicate or debate even confidently? So to get to reasoned confidence, you have to check on three things. Three things that you have to really appreciate about yourself. To appreciate, remember, is to understand. To appreciate doesn't necessarily mean to be grateful or to be thankful. To appreciate is to appreciate the way of things. In other words, to understand is essentially the same thing. To understand something is to appreciate something. To understand yourself is to appreciate yourself. And unless and until you got full understanding about yourself and who you are through introspection and sometimes circumspection. What is introspection? Introspection is when you look inside yourself and you think about the things about yourself and you really appreciate them, you really understand them, you come to quorum with who you are as a person. Now, I say that word lightly, I throw it around lightly, but you may recognize that this is a challenge for a lot of people, introspection. The challenge for a lot of people is self-awareness, being aware of themselves and what their thoughts are, what their likes and wants and desires are. And so introspection is a very important skill you must develop. What is circumspection? Circumspection is rather than you're thinking about inside yourself, You're getting the ideas of other people, of what they think, of how they perceive you. Not necessarily as important as how you see yourself, but sometimes it's good to get their thoughts if circumspection is important to you, which it is when you're communicating with other people, so that you can communicate with them in a way that they appreciate. In other words, so you can communicate with them in the way that they understand. It doesn't matter what words you say, so it only matters what words they are able to understand. You can be in a body of people and speak Japanese. If none of them speak Japanese, you won't get your message through. I'm about to sneeze here. Okay, so how do you develop reason confidence? Number one, develop reason confidence. But number two, how do you get there? Reasoned confidence. What is the opposite of reason confidence? The opposite of reason confidence is unreasoned and unjustified confidence. In other words, arrogance. Any confidence which is not reasoned or not justified is arrogance and comes off as arrogance and is off-putting. What is confidence? Confidence is what you can rely upon to be true. Anything that you communicate which you can't actually rely upon to be true, you can't be confident about. If I were to ask you, can you confidently jump 6 feet? Are you confident you can jump 6 feet? Is your confidence justified? If you say, yeah, I could jump 6 feet, but you've never tried it, your confidence is unjustified. Your confidence is unreasoned because you've never tried it. You don't actually know whether you could. But when you try it and you say, okay, this is 6 feet, I'm actually pretty good, your confidence is justified. It's reasoned. And it really matters when I take you up a building, an 80-story high building, and we have to jump across the other building, which is 6 feet apart, and I ask you, how confident are you that you could jump 6 feet? You'd better be confident, justifiably. Otherwise, there's going to be 80 stories of falling that you're going to be encountering. So how do you get reasoned confidence? You have to check on 3 things. Number one, check on your logic. Your logic is incredibly important. This is number one. Check your logic. Do you have all the information? Have you done enough research? Do you have all the data that you need to be able to communicate confidently with anyone, the data that you've accumulated, that you've reasoned out? Have you reasoned out? Do you have the appropriate reasoning to be able to communicate that this is true, this is correct, this is justified? Have you collected the data in your mind? Do you have the logic? Are you confident with your logic? Number two, are you confident with your feelings? How do you feel about this thing? Do you feel good about it? Feeling is not something you can communicate with words because your feeling center, your emotional center, doesn't communicate with you using language that is English or whatever your language is. But it does communicate with your ego in a particular way. Your ego and your emotional center communicate. They understand each other, but you can only communicate with your ego, the thing in your brain which creates abstractions. And because it creates abstractions, it's able to communicate with words, because words are abstractions. But you can't abstract with your emotions, but you can certainly take a look at the feeling that you have. Do you feel good about this? Have you reasoned it enough so you can feel good about it? If you haven't, get to that point where you reason it out so well in your mind and in your emotional center that you feel good about it. And number 3 thing you have to check is you have to check your conscience. Your conscience is the center which evaluates the ethics and the morals of things. In other words, the part of your mind which delineates between good or bad. That's what ethics is. That's what morals are. Morals, the difference between morals and ethics is that ethics is what the rules that you go into, the good and the bad that you go into when you partake in any specific group, like the ethics of the business ethics, or the ethics of nurses, or ethics of doctors, or ethics of lawyers, or ethics in whatever specific area. Morals is what you're born into, the standard morals, standard good or bad community. Now, those are the standards, and you can change them reasonably once you've got reason, confidence. Now, once you've checked these three things, these three areas, number one, you got your logic, it's logically sound and reasoned and justified. Number two, you feel good about it. And number three, you feel good in your conscience about it. You mean you perceive it as ethically sound. It's good. It's a good thing. It will be good for everyone around us. It's a good thing to have. It makes the world a better place that we do these things. Once you've got those three things, you have something called reasoned confidence. And once you've got reasoned confidence, you're able to go up to any body of people and be able to communicate confidently without being arrogant, without being bombastic, without being extravagant. Calmly communicate reasonably without having to yell, without having to cuss. There are a lot of people who are incredibly intelligent, people who are geniuses, who cuss a lot, are very angry when they communicate, when they debate. They're great debaters because they know what they're talking about. But there's no need to go overboard and to get them to not be on your side. Remember, being correct and getting people to your side are two completely different things. You can be completely correct and they hate you for it. Or you could be completely correct and they'll be joining your team. I'm going to talk about that in other videos, but if you want to be able to confidently speak your message with any body of people, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's one in a group, whether it's one in a mass of people like on your social media, to be able to communicate confidently, you have to reason and justify it in your mind logically. It's logically sound. If you follow it down the line, it makes sense. Number two, you feel good about it. And number three, you feel it's a good thing. It's a good thing for them, good thing for the people around you. It makes the world a better place. Then you have something called reason, confidence, and you will convey this. You will radiate this. And they will feel good when they communicate with you. If you want more advanced techniques on communication and relationships and social dynamics, go to greatrelationshipsyou.com. If you appreciate this video and share this video with other people who might appreciate it as well, and you will make the world a better place by sharing these ideas. And leave your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear them. And I'll talk to you on the next video. Bye-bye.